Everybody, Rue Dickinson with Alpha Pre-Sales. So I teach storytelling, value selling, and discovery. And for today, I want to talk about how to sell a product as simple as a Coca-Cola, and then we're going to apply this to software. So a lot of folks mess up storytelling because they don't get this idea of contrast it down. All right, they tell improv stories, or they tell Disney stories, or they tell whatever stories, and they're not good for sales. So in sales, the most important thing about your story is the contrast, and it's the current state or the problem, and then you wedge your solution right here, and then you get into a future state or solution. Now let's talk about how this looks. If I were selling this Coca-Cola, the way to tell a story is the following. I want you to close your eyes for a second. For real, I want you to do this. I want you to imagine that it's a hot summer day. It's 90 degrees out, sun is pumping down. Maybe you're playing with the kids, you're getting sweaty, and you decide to take a break, you go inside. And somebody's got a glass of ice cubes for you, and they hand you this Coca-Cola. And you take that and you pour that in over those ice cubes, and then you take a sip of it. So good. So what I just did there is I took you into this current state or this problem of being parched, and then I brought you with a Coca-Cola to this not parched future state. And the value in the Coca-Cola is not in the Coca-Cola. The value is in the gap or the contrast between your current state or prior state and your future state. And so that's where storytelling, the contrast is so important. A lot of folks don't do a good job of this. They just talk about, well, we can increase operational efficiency by 30%. And that doesn't mean a lot to most people. So if you want to apply this to software, you want to create that contrast. And one of the ways to do that is through a story. So one of the things you can do, if let's say you're selling Salesforce or something else that makes it easier for sales reps to track things and forecast whatever, you would say something like, you know that feeling on Thursday night where you have to update all of your Salesforce notes and redo your forecast and then submit it. And if you don't, you get in trouble from management. And most sales reps will say, yep, I know that feeling. It's miserable. So Thursday nights they hate because they're super busy and it's manual work. So what you do is you bring them back to that situation. That's their current state. That's your problem. And then you say, well, Salesforce's new features allow you to dictate notes verbally so you don't even have to write them out. Or it automates 90% of the note-taking process. And now you bring them over to this not busy state. And if you can tell an impact statement like, we did this for a company XYZ, it was taking them an hour and a half to do their Salesforce updates, and now it takes them 10 minutes. There's your contrast. So the value is in the contrast. Do not go and tell stories in sales that are 7 parts with rising action, climax, falling action, and that kind of thing. It's really simple. It's a current state. Put your solution in between that and the future state. And the greater that gap, the greater the contrast, the more value that you're going to provide.